All right, problem 5.4, millimeters, grams, and seconds. Part origin is at the bottom circle, not symmetric, so we're going to have to generate some geometry. Just my first guess is that if we're perpendicular to this face and generate those 34 millimeter points, that would give us perpendicular at a point. Lines, center lines, arcs, circles, fillets, and extruded boss. So this is an optional exercise, optional problem. So we are new, part millimeter, top plane. All right, so based on the isometric view, figure out which one I'm looking at, this back face would be in the front plane. All right, so we'll go ahead and open up the sketch. Get started with the lower circle, which is given as a radius of 9, so we'll double that, 18. And then because I want to see it as the radius, we're going to right click. So I did try a left click there, but it's still in the dimension command. So we go ahead and hit escape. Then if I'm outside of the dimension, I can go ahead and display as radius, the left click. All right, so our arc, let's go with a center point arc, and we'll start generating something like that. And then escape. If you want to use L on the keyboard, that will put you directly into the line. All right, so that one's going perpendicular, but I really want to see tangent, not really. Oh, and I went to the arc anyway, so let's I'm just going to extend that out and maybe flatten that out. All right, so I bring that. Now I'm seeing tangent, so it was inferring something back to that line, the perpendicular back to that line. So radius of 18 on the lower. And then we have a dimension of 45. So let's go ahead and finish drawing these out. And that has a little steeper angle, so we're going to go with that. I'll go back into the tangent arc. Okay, and then I'm just hitting escape on the keyboard. We'll go back to the line, then I can just pick up my continuous tangent arc, and it's going to go something like that. And because it has that little step, I can tell that it's not tangentially, so we select, control select, and then we'll go to tangent. Also there it has that, well, that was fun, has that little step and is going with something in the geometry. All right, one more right there. All right, so when in doubt, grab one of those endpoints, and as you drag it, if it does anything but stay tangent, you need a tangency. I don't know that there's a better way to say that. All right, so diameter of 24, that becomes a radius of 12. If we right click, I can switch it over to diameter. Distance, we are going from circle to arc is 82. And we can go circle to arc is 48. Okay, so that got kind of big. They're doing the diameter of 16 again, so that will give us a radius of 8. And let's see, what are we going to have for the heights? So 54 off of that vertical and 18. So let's go ahead and put those in. Oh, and I think I meant horizontal, but let's go with that one. And then we're going to come back and that one becomes 54. And then one more becomes 22. All right, and the last dimension in that mess is the 42 for the radius. And I'm just going to do a quick double check. 22, 54, 18, diameter 24, diameter 16. I think we're ready to put in the circles. And we'll jump into the smart dimension with the right click and diameter of 12 and diameter of 8. All right, so in preparation for the planes to generate those shapes, I either need a center line or I need, I think a point will do it. So we're just going to put a point and a point. So when I right click and go back into my smart dimension, the point, and this is going to be a little bit tricky. Yeah, it's going to want to do linear or linear between. It's not going to let me go across that that line. So we're going to double check that that point and that that line will actually be will be perpendicular. All right, so if I can add the relation and it doesn't freak out, then we are safe in assuming that those points are usable as our geometry, or for our dimension and setting up the geometry. So from the center line over 34, and then over 34. Okay, so you know, it's a natural assumption that those endpoints would be perpendicular, but it doesn't hurt to verify. All right, so we're going to extrude, and the thickness is 8, and we are not doing mid-plane. We're going to stay in blind end condition. Now the other thing was that was at the bottom. Does that affect anything? So when we show this, I don't think that it's going to matter whether it's up here or down there. So let's go ahead and see what we get with the first. So if I pre-select, it will automatically populate those. And chances are I'm going to need need the center line that I was thinking about, or not. All right, so I needed to get out of parallel and into perpendicular. So it would go perpendicular to this face at that point. And input is still complete. So it wants a vertical edge. Let's see if that will mess with it. No. So chances are I'm going to need 2 more points. All right, so it wants a vertical there. So if I open up a sketch, I haven't tried converting points. So let's see if we convert those points. We now have a another point to work from. So we go back, pick up the plane. The third reference point becomes that one, and we have coincident. The face is perpendicular and coincident to the last point. We can go ahead and start the sketch. So this is location for the plane, and then the sketch already has that, so I can hide that one. And we probably still need, no, I guess I can't hide that one just yet. So open up the sketch on the plane, and let's take a look at what we're given on geometry. So our auxiliary view for this one is B, vertical to 46, back down and around with a 74 degree. All right, so we're in the sketch. we go to the line. I am going to escape. Let's go ahead and hide the plane. That's not helping me. Yeah, I do want to make sure that I'm looking at the orientation because I'm pretty sure that was upside down. At least it looked enough upside down to make me think about it. All right, so I am in the sketch. Let's go Control 8 again. All right. When in doubt, if that that perception is acting a little strange, and why aren't you letting me? There we go. It wasn't letting me drag that way. So, okay, continuous arc and tangency. All right, so vertical, and then the other was 74 degrees to the base. All right, and then from the base to the arc was 46 millimeters. And the diameter then came up as 16, so the radius will be 8. Just remember that arcs are always going to get radiuses and circles are always going to get diameters. If we need to do something different, we'll just do it after the fact. All right, so 8. And then, well, let's see, I'll escape so I can get out of that dimension and do the left click, and we're going to display that as a radius. So I have the diameter of 16, the diameter of 8, and 46. All right, and then the direction will be, for the extrude will be off of that way. All right, the thickness of those, is that a typical? It didn't really say typical, but I think we're going to have to assume typical because, oh, there it is, 6 millimeters in the upper. All right, so the 34, we went that way. We're going to 6. And go ahead and accept. All right, so having the sketches, that does help with the geometry. All right, let's see what it populates when I select the 2 points and the plane. Perpendicular, sketch 1, sketch 2. That all looks pretty good. And then we can go right into a new sketch. And we have that one for reference this time, so that helps. But I'm still going to rotate over a little bit so that I can see that geometry. And it's going to be similar, so, and I'm not sure where that's going to line up. So we'll pull those two together and just make sure that that one's vertical. Select, Control, Select for tangency. And since we're just kind of cruising along here, we'll put in the circle so that I can hide the plane, and then Control 8 to get back into the geometry. All right, so this one is 40 and the other one was 46 off the bottom, so I should have paid attention to that, but I'm glad I caught it here. So 48 from the bottom, and we have a diameter of 24, so a radius of 12. And again, if you right click, you can do that in the dimension. We're going to switch over to diameter. So diameter of 24 and diameter of 12. Now my angle is a little bit off, so we're going to pull that dimension first, and the 78 will go between those, between the horizontal and the vertical. So that looks pretty good. And it is also a thickness of 6. So we just need to make sure we're going the right direction. And we'll go ahead and accept it. All right, so the sketch for the Boss Extrude Now, it's probably easier to just go ahead and delete the dimension and put it back in, but keep in mind that you do have grips at the end of the extension lines that when they work pretty good, and when they don't work, just delete it and go on. So that was I was able to drag that extension line to its spot. All right, so we're going to go with P5-4 and save, and our volume 54,372. And we have 54,372. So all of that geometry and all of that construction to build our planes, make our shapes, and have our geometry